do 30 for 30? I don't know if you ever saw that on
No.
ESPN. They talk about all different, like really deep subjects.
Wow.
So we decided to do 30 interviews in 30 days. So we're doing our motivational 30 for 30.
Nice.
Yeah. So how we're gonna start this off is I've been asking everybody, you're the first lady, first female. I've had all men so far.
So it's about time.
I know, right? Do you know anything about basketball?
What about basketball?
There's 5 players on the team. So I want you to give me your starting 5, your motivational success starting 5, your team.
Okay.
Taking notes. Go ahead.
Oh, so you want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Good.
Yeah, you ready?
5 people that motivational success. They could be alive. They don't have to be. They could be alive, or they could have passed on. But
yeah,
the ones that you love.
Oprah.
Okay.
Barbara Corcoran.
Okay.
Dale Carnegie.
Okay. Wow. How to Win Friends and Influence People.
That's right. That book changed my life. Tony
Really?
Robbins.
Okay.
There should be one more, huh?
Yep. One more.
There's a gentleman named Greg Young. That he's
Greg
not.
Who?
He's not a celebrity though. Does it have to be a celebrity?
No, don't have to be. No.
Greg Young.
Greg Young.
Greg Young, just like you. Greg.
Oh wow.
Young.
Okay. What does he do?
He passed away, but
Okay.
he was the sales director for a real estate company I used to be a manager for. And he just brought organization to chaos. And he motivated us, just like you motivate people. He motivated us. He taught me how to public speak. And he was a very quiet guy, but once he was on stage, he was a beast. And but he like the few words he said made a world of a difference. So he always said the definition of respect is a bit of love and fear. So he used to steer a little bit of fear in us, but we loved him. And so when he left the company to open his own real estate school, I cried like a baby. And I remember all the other ladies who were managers, they're like looking at me like, is she having an affair with him or something? Like, why is she crying so much? It's because I loved him. I learned so much, and I kind of owe to him on being a public speaker. And just before he left, he gave me all these books from Tony Robbins, Tom Ferry, all these sales speakers. And I learned a lot from everything he gave me. So he left a legacy. Unfortunately, he passed away maybe 2 years ago. But yeah, he made a big impact in my life. There's more people, but I'm saying like the ones that I think are my, big time inspirations.
So the first 4 shows, they were men. My guests were men, and I would ask them. Only one of them had women. When I said, "Who's your starting 5?" and they all had all men. The first guy had 3 women. The rest had all men. What do you think about that?
Because I think people feel like they need to see themselves in their shoes, right? So I think sometimes people may not be able to see themselves in the shoe of another sex. That's probably why. That's the only thing I can think of. But I don't look at people that way. I'm looking at them more of like what they've accomplished, how much they inspire, are they making a change in the world, and have they made an impact? And that's why I have a mixed bag.
Well, there are some women that are very motivational.
Yeah.
And have made an impact in many different ways, speaking and teaching.
Yeah.
So matter of fact, one of the people that I enjoyed listening to, I don't listen to her that much, but I want to probably listen to her more, is T.D. Jakes' daughter. She is a rock star. T.D. Jakes' daughter. You know T.D. Jakes?
No.
He's a pastor. He's a pastor. and he has a daughter. Her name is Sarah. She is incredible.
Okay, I need to look her up. I need to look him up.
Yeah. Sarah Jakes, and then TD Jakes. They're all over YouTube.
Okay.
TD Jakes, Sarah Jakes. So why did you pick Oprah?
Just because she is someone who has overcome so much adversity in life.
Yes, she did.
And in so many levels.
Yeah.
And she still overcame it. And look how far she has gotten. And I think that most of us go through adversity. And I mean, it can't get any worse or deeper than what she has gone through. So we're very lucky to be where we are, and we have no excuses, you know? So that's why I look up to her.
Yeah, she really came off big.
Yeah.
That we must say. What's that?
She deserves it.
Yeah, I went to she used to give these conferences, like, and I went to see her like 5 times, right? And one of the things she said is that the universe is always speaking to us, but it usually comes first in a whisper. Comes in a whisper. So she says, then it comes into a pebble, then it comes into a rock, then it comes into a brick, then it comes into a brick wall, then it comes into an avalanche. But the problem is that we don't listen to the whisper. So she says, sit down, shut up, and listen. So that's what I got for $200. Actually, it was 185 for the. But it was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience. But that was one of the things that really stuck with me.
Wow.
Gotta listen, pay attention to the universe is speaking to us. We're not listening. We got problems, issues. Yeah. How do you deal with it when you have a challenge? How do you deal with that?
You know, I think in life it's a roller coaster. Life in general is a roller coaster ride, especially when you're an entrepreneur and you don't have a paycheck, right? You have to work for your money.
Wow.
But I think that the way I overcome obstacles is always looking at, okay, this is not worse than it is. I mean, they could be much worse. Look at what a great life I have, and not really get bogged down with what's happening at that moment. Because a lot of the things, like a perfect example, I went through something yesterday. Yes, I got pissed off. I felt like throwing up how angry I was, but it was only for a few hours. Today I woke up, it's a new day, and that was the past. Let's deal with it today. It's a new day, and let's be grateful for what we have. So it's easy to get caught up on the negative, but really, if you really are grateful, you can't be grateful and angry or depressed at the same time. Like, it's a feeling when you're having the feeling of gratefulness, it's just it doesn't allow you to be angry, because you can't be both, right? So if you find, there's always something we can be grateful for: health, family, being a roof over your head. I mean, the list can go on and on and on. So it's just reminding yourself to what you could be grateful for at that moment when you're going through obstacles.
Right. So why are you here?
Here where? In the radio show?
No, in the universe. Like at this time.
Yes.
Like,
why I'm here?
What are you here to do?
Yeah, I think I'm very lucky. I do believe God has chosen me. I believe in God. And that's another thing I should have said, is that the more I pray, the better things get. Right? And it's unbelievable. Sometimes I'm going through something and I'm like, let me just pray that God's going to lead me in the right direction, that God's going to put the words in my mouth of what I should say. And it's like magic. It just happens, right? But I think God chose me to be able to make an impact in this world. And not at the level that Oprah Winfrey have impacted, but at least at some level. Because growing up everyone around me, I lived in a very, very poor neighborhood, and I had friends who were my neighbors that had no money for shoes. And
Wow.
the only reason, and they had dogs that had no food. Okay, that just, I remember vividly seeing my
Wow.
friends with no shoes. So the fact that I had shoes, I always thought I was rich.
Mm.
So when
Wow.
I came to the United States, it's almost like I left that poor area, the poor experience, to New York. And it made me realize, wow, look what you can do. Oh, you can buy a car. You can work and buy a car. You can work and actually travel. And what I realized is that I was lucky, and God gave me the opportunity to be able to leave that country and immerse myself in a different environment. But I think a lot of people don't have that opportunity. They don't
Yeah.
have
What
the
country was that?
Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Oh, okay.
Brazil. And a lot of people in our backyard. It could be areas that are neighborhoods that are right next to us, that people are going through the same thing. But what happens is they are in that environment, they're in that house, and the family have all their beliefs that this is how life is. And the reason why they continue in the cycle of poverty is because they don't know they can get out.
Mm.
And I was given the opportunity to get out. I left that world, came into this world. Even the way I spoke in Portuguese was not how I speak in English. I didn't know how to speak properly. It's always speaking with slang. And, because I came from a very poor area. So that's how we spoke. But when I came to the United States, when I learned how to speak English, I spoke English properly. I behaved the way a middle class neighborhood would behave. And then I started working in real estate with these upscale clientele and co-workers that had, high level of education. So I started to become just like them. And I left that world, not only physically, but also emotionally.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to educate people to get out, because back in the days, people didn't have any opportunity. But today, with technology, you can be in a room, but be somewhere else because of technology. And similar to what you're creating now, other people can hear this and understand that and get the education and the examples of how you could have a better life.
Right.
That's not the only way to live.
But when you think of Rio de Janeiro, you think, oh, fabulous hotels, beautiful
Thanks. I'm glad
vacation.
I'm so glad that's the image you picture, because that's not reality.
Wow.
It depends. I mean, if you're living in the center of Rio and you're in Bajas or you're in like the upscale areas, yes, of course. But you could drive or walk 5 minutes away, and then you have the favelas, right? The favelas is where the slums are.
Wow.
And I would say 80% of Rio is poor, 20% is not. So majority of you don't
Wow.
see. And I lived about 40 minutes away from Copacabana, which is like the most famous beach in Rio de Janeiro. So,
Wow.
but it's funny because I have my dad's side of the family did well, but my mom's side of the family didn't do well. So I got to experience like the wealthy and the poor side. But fascinating to me was that my poor side was always happier.
Mm.
They
That's interesting.
appreciated everything. And the rich side was always worried about money. And they were always worried about being kidnapped. And they were always worried. It was, my uncle had to sell his house last minute to go live in a gated community because the housekeeper wanted to kidnap him through someone who was someone who was in a bad area, and they were trying to extort him for money. So he lived for years in fear. Well, when you're living in a, you don't have anything to lose. You don't have to worry about what to lose, right? So
Are,
yeah, so
are there opportunities in Brazil?
it's not an easy place. It's not an easy place. My dad owned a business, and that's, I think now I have a lot of wisdom from my dad and my mom because they both owned a candle factory. But I realized and I saw the struggles because when you own a business in Brazil, it's very corrupt. And you know, the police, not the police, the IRS come knocks on your door, but then the IRS says, okay, you give me 50 grand, I'll let you. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I don't know what that noise is. So the IRS says, okay, give me 50,000, then this $100,000 IRS bill will go away.
Wow.
It's a, I'm sorry. Yeah, can you turn this off? And the computer's talking to me. Anyways, you know, so here in this country, it's okay, you pay taxes, but it's okay, but you can still have a great life. It's not like all your money is being paid to taxes, but yeah. And but I've learned a lot from seeing my dad build a business, but even though they own the business, they always struggled. And but you know, it's not an easy place. There's not a lot of opportunity like we have here.
How can a person develop this thing where they believe in themselves, when they believe that, hey, you know what, I can achieve, I can go for my dream, instead of like, oh, I'll never achieve that. What could they do to build that up, build up that confidence?
I think if you read and you go through self-development, and I think everyone is very different, right? With me, I've done a lot of self-development that have uncovered why I am so driven and why I'm not afraid. And the reason why I'm like this is because when I was a little girl, I went through a modeling competition and I was 13 years old and I won first place.
Wow.
And my neighborhood was there, a lot of my neighbors, and they all started screaming my name, like cheering me on, like I was a star. And that feeling of significance and loving connection was so powerful in my life that I've lived my entire life looking for clues on how to win again. So after that competition, then I did a dance competition and I won. Then I did a rollerblading competition and I won. So I always looked for the clues on how to win. And that's why I did the bodybuilding competition and then I won. And then I started running real estate offices. And then I was like, okay, how do we do this? And then I won, right? But that was because as a child, it was programmed in my head that in order for you to be loved, you have to win. So
wow.
that was my subconscious. I didn't even know. But as an adult, through self-development, I came to this conclusion and I said, wow. But I don't no longer allow a 13-year-old to run my life, because with everything you go through, there's always consequences, right? So the problem when you're always looking to win, you're making sacrifices. And with me, because I was always looking to win, to get love and connection, I was ignoring love and connection, meaning I never had time for family. I never had time for friends because I was always looking to win.
Wow.
But in reality, all I wanted was love and connection. That's why I kept winning. Does that make sense? But the
absolutely.
But the whole point is, you got to figure out what motivates you, because people only change for two reasons: pain or pleasure. What is your purpose? What do you really want out of life? Does that really excite you? Because most people, believe it or not, Rick, they don't know what they want.
Right.
And in order to uncover what you really want, you have to dig deep.
How did you discover this thing called personal development, personal growth, success principles? How did you find out about that?
It was, I never liked reading as a child, because in Brazil, they don't force you to read like they do here in school. Like I never read a book until I was an adult, other than like textbooks, right? I used to only read the textbooks that they force you to read in school. But other than that, didn't read. I don't know. I think at one point, what happened was that gentleman, Greg Young, made us stand up and do a 30-second speech, public speech. And I was just shaking like crazy. I could barely talk, but I had a 30-second, very impactful speech. And I was like, oh my God, that was the hardest, most fearful thing I ever did. And then A friend of mine told me to go to the Tony Robbins event. He said, just try it out because you can walk on burning coals. I'm like, walk on burning coals? Like, you can walk on fire? I'm like, no, you didn't walk on fire. And this was actually one of my former bosses. He said, oh, yes, you walk on fire. I said, oh, come on. But everybody said it's true. I'm like, okay, I got to experience that. But anyway, so when I went through that, I realized, oh, wow, there's a book you can read about this, right? So then I said, oh, I hear all these different authors. So one of the first books that I read was How to Win Friends and Influence People. And thankfully, it was one of the best books I started because it just changed completely my
You're
mind.
tuned in to GHCR, Grant House's Community Radio, home of the Community News Service.
That's our station ID, Luciane.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so that was one of the first, and then I got hooked and I started reading a lot of other books. Then I started going to a lot of different self-development seminars. And then you become kind of hooked on, you're realizing, wow, we have complete control of our lives. It's all in our mind.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Wow.
The limitations we have is ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna give you a challenge. Let's say I'm gonna put $100 in your pocket, and I'm gonna put you in a city where you don't know anyone, and you have to figure out, you got to eat with that money, and you have to find a place to stay with that money. $100, not a lot. What are you gonna do? What is Luciane gonna do in that tough situation?
Wow, that's a tough.
Not a lot of money. $100 doesn't go far. Find a place to stay. You can't call and say, "Hey, I need some help." You have to use your talent, your skills, your abilities.
Oh my goodness! I think most people would only know what to do once they're actually in that situation, because survival in. Survival kicks in. And how long do I have that money for?
That's your $100.
For
you
how
gotta
long?
Figure out.
1 night? 2 nights? How long do I have the $100?
Well, until you spend it. So you have to figure out, I gotta eat, I need a place to live, I need to make some money.
Well, I came to the United States with $100, just so you know.
Wow. So you've been there already.
I've been through that, but I had a place to live, though. It's very different. I had my aunt's house and I stayed in her room. I actually lived in a basement until I had enough money to get my own apartment. So I've been through that already.
Yeah.
I would probably go from place to place and ask if they're looking to hire, like I did the first time around. I was here the very first day from Brazil, didn't know how to speak English. I walked into a restaurant. I don't know how I said it. And I said, looking to hire? And then they said, yes, start today.
Oh, wow.
People would say, I want, a Caesar salad. And I'm looking at them. I had no idea. I just didn't understand the language. But I made $30 that day, So I'll probably go from door to door to get a job first, because I'm sure one of them will say yes, because, it's a numbers game. And I can probably do that for the first day. And do I have a car to sleep in, maybe?
A car?
No car, just $100 in my clothes.
That's it.
I would probably, or maybe I would go to like a hotel or something and see if they're hiring there and say I can sweep the floors, and if they give me a room to sleep while I'm sweeping the floors in exchange.
Wow, that's survival. So how have you been dealing with this pandemic that's going on? I mean, this is insanity what's happening right now. How are you dealing with this?
It's been a great thing for me. I am very sad for so many people losing their loved ones. I'm sad for the amount of people I see suffering from mental illnesses because they've been brainwashed that the world is ending, and like how bad things are. And if you spend so much time listening to the news, at one point it's going to impact you, right? So I haven't watched TV since the first week of the pandemic. And I've been very fortunate that I opened my own business a year ago, and my business was the first virtual real estate company, believe it or not.
Wow.
A year before the pandemic. And when I told people I owned the first luxury real estate company, they didn't know what I was talking about. They're like, what? Virtual? What do you mean? Now everyone knows what virtual is. Look at us virtually doing this interview right now.
About that, yeah.
Right. So what happened was I've actually gotten a lot of business from people that want me to help them sell real estate and buy real estate virtually, because 95% of the industry do not know how to conduct business taking advantage of technology.
Right.
So my business has grown. I have a lot of business that I've been fortunate to get and grow because being a first, the first woman-owned minority that is, virtual. So it's been a great thing for me, for sure. But I know also that, a lot of people don't feel that way, and I sympathize with them. But I always say, with everything bad, there's something that there's always an opportunity.
Right, right.
There's always an opportunity. So what is the opportunity? Look for it, think about it, research. And for me, it's been an opportunity.
What about that 4-letter word, fear? A lot of people have issues with that fear, and it stops them. That's where procrastination comes in, and it shows up in so many different ways. How do you deal with this thing called fear?
One time, a wise man said to me that fear is false expectations appearing real. Right? You've heard this before. So when I'm afraid, I'm like, it's false. It's false. Yeah. But it's all training, because most people weren't born to understand. Like, through education, I realized that human beings are meant to protect themselves, because our brain is trained for survival. So automatically our brain tells us, be careful. Don't take that risk. It may fall. Be careful. You may lose your money if you go that way. Be careful. Don't. So human nature are supposed to make us afraid, so we don't make mistakes, so we don't get hurt. So it's retraining your mind that, no, it's not true. I'm in control, not you. And this is going to happen. I'm going to go through this. What's the worst case scenario? I'm going to do it anyways.
So who's responsible for your life, your success, your achievement? Who's responsible for that?
Two people. One is God. Two is my grandmother. Because when I was a little girl, my grandmother used to say to me that I was a chosen one. And unfortunately, most people didn't have the opportunity of having that person, that angel, telling you that they believe in you so much. So my grandmother always said to me, you're going to be a star. Oh, you're the chosen one. God chose you. You're the eyes of God. She always said that to me. And I believed it deeply. So I've been programmed that I'm the chosen one. But we all are. It's just that her words stayed in my mind. So whenever, I never think something is not going to work or not going to happen, because I know I'm the chosen one.
Can you imagine a parent, grandparent, or parent talking to the child in a bad way and knocking down their self-esteem, knocking down their confidence, calling them names, saying, can you imagine that? Cursing them out? Imagine a child getting that, as opposed to what you got, say, hey, you're the chosen one. But there's the other side too.
And I think, look, including myself, I have children, and I'm very aware of that. So it's very easy to say the wrong things when you're, under a lot of stress, and you're trying to survive. You're trying to make a living. You're trying to, take care of the house and have it all, right? And I've actually caught myself saying, what is wrong with you? Why are you doing it? You can't do this, or putting my children down. I'm like, oh no. The worst thing you can do is to say these bad things to your child. If you say these bad things to your child, that's who they believe they are. And then when you become an adult, that's what they believe they are. And it's going to hurt them tremendously. You have to say things to inspire them.
Here's what you should say. I'm saying this to you, And you also should say this to your children. And I got this from someone that I interviewed recently, a friend of mine, Robert E. Kreiner, and the E stands for enthusiasm. He says, you are a divine expression of the Creator, a divine expression of God.
Wow.
Imagine, I'm saying that to you because that's who you are and that's what energy I'm getting. And imagine the children taking that in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to be very careful with our words, because
Right.
what we say could make or break somebody's life.
Right.
And if you love your children, if you love your family, you need to see the best in them, no matter who they are. It could
Right.
it could be the person cleaning the bathroom. It could be, you know, the sanitation. It could be it could be anybody. It could be the clerk in the postal office. There's somebody knows something you don't, that you can learn from. So if you have that mindset that everyone knows something that you don't, and they generally have something good in them, you have to give people a chance. And very often we immediately judge people by their appearance or their behavior, but we don't know what's inside. We don't know. Maybe that person's in pain. Maybe they've been abused their whole life. Like somebody who's sad, who's angry, who's miserable, that's probably what it is. They're hurting inside, and that's their defense mechanism. So you have to give people a chance, and you have to be kind, because you just never know.
What's your ultimate goal that you would like to achieve?
I would like to sell the most luxurious homes all over the world for high net worth individuals, sports and entertainment clients. And I started. I'm already working with some celebrities, and I'm helping them buy and sell real estate. I actually just, one of the former players from the Angels, I just got his 2-family house in South Boston for sale. So it's happening, because guess what? Once you know what you want in life, it's like you're saying to somebody, don't look for red, don't look for red, don't look for red. What do you see?
Red.
Right? So that's what happens when you know what you want in life and you start putting it out into the universe, then just it starts showing up everywhere. And I put into the universe that although I was the first virtual real estate company, that I was also going to focus on helping high net worth individuals and also sports entertainment clients. In addition to that, I also did research, and I realized 70% of sports entertainment clients lose everything. And I don't want that to happen. If somebody is a client of mine, they're going to make the right decisions so they don't go through that and lose everything. They're not going to go to where I came from. I'm not going to allow that to happen. Right? So, yeah, so you have to know what you want, put it out there, put it to the universe, tell other people. And then, believe it or not, people want to help. You know, the more I told people that's what I did, then I got introduced to entertainment attorney, then I got introduced to the sports team, they got introduced to this person. And then it just happens. But until you put it out there and until you say what you want, people won't know. And you also—
Do you ever go back? Do you ever go back to Brazil?
I did last year. I went to Carnival.
What was that experience like?
So I went to high school with this young girl who was prettier than me, smarter than me. And I just happened that in Brazil, we always do our own nails. So we take the cuticle remover, we do our own nails. It's a very normal thing. Some people go to do their nails in the nail salon, but it's not like here. Everybody does their nails in the nail salon. So I took this thing to sharpen. So I went to the store. It was a tiny little store. It's almost like a mechanic shop. They're supposed to sharpen your cuticle remover and your scissors. So I walk into this place, and the young lady at the counter sharpening knives and pens and cuticle removers was that beautiful girl that I went to high school with that was smarter than me.
Wow.
She has the worst job. And it made me realize how lucky I am to be in this country, to have been given the opportunity to be here, because that would have been me.
Wow.
You know? So, and I have this amazing life. But at the same time, it made me also realize, okay, what can I do with this information? How can I help other people? How can I help other people learn that they don't have to live the same life forever? I would have been like that. If I wouldn't know it otherwise, But anyway, so that was one thing. And then I felt a little bit out of place, because I feel like I've outgrown my city.
Wow.
Yeah. I felt bad because I wanted to feel like, oh, this is where I belong. I just didn't feel like I belonged anymore.
Now, we are creatures of habit. And I want you to give me one success habit, a habit that helps people to achieve success. Because, some people have bad habits, but if you have success habits, it's going to really help you, take you to another place.
I think if you exercise and eat healthier, because what we put into our body makes a big impact, right? So garbage in, garbage out. So I think my turning point in my life was when I started exercising, because I had no choice, because I was getting sick. I was not eating any, I was working all the time. I wasn't eating healthy. I wasn't exercising. And I was diagnosed with a thyroid condition. And the doctor said, this is very serious. It could turn into cancer if you don't treat it, because thyroid is a very essential part of your body. So he told me, you have to start exercising and you have to start taking this medication for the rest of your life. So when I heard that, I freaked out and I hired a trainer. I started eating healthy, and I would, no matter what, would go to the gym. And it's interesting because that was when everything started. It's amazing when you're in the Stairmaster or you're running, how your brain starts thinking. And in addition to that, so if I had a horrible day and I was just, the first 10 minutes, I'm stressed, but it's like the 11th minute, it's almost like all the worries are gone. It's unbelievable. It's like an eraser of stress. And I know it's the endorphins that's being released. But if you have this natural drug that's going to help you be happier, healthier, smarter, why not take advantage of it? And then in addition to that, you eat healthy. And then on top of that, you start reading a book that's going to inspire you. And then you take a course that's going to make you realize, like, wow, this is who I want to be. You got to know who you want to be. And I knew who I wanted to be 5 years ago. And I've been working towards who I wanted to be for a long time.
I had a guy say to me once, a friend of mine, Jeffrey Vistanova, he said, we are all born to win, but we are conditioned to lose. A lot of people are conditioned to lose. And then it starts with you can't get away from childhood. So it's the childhood, it's the parents, it's the teachers, it's the churches. That's what Napoleon Hill said. So we got a lot of work to do.
I know. And let me tell you, there's something, most of us are either good or bad based on the way we were raised. So if you were raised and you were abused as a child, most likely you either have issues emotionally, physically, there's always a consequence. But the beautiful thing is, it's not the end. As long as you become aware, then you can program yourself to go back in time, remember that happened, and erase it. And create a new...
Well, can you make that thing, whatever happened, can you make that work for you? Can you make
Absolutely.
that?
Absolutely. You can either feel sorry for yourself, or you can say, God did that because he was teaching me something. Life happens to us or for us. And it's because of one word, it changes everything. And sometimes life happens for us. Why did God make me, live in a really poor neighborhood, have a house that was never finished, have neighbors that had no shoes? Because
wow, that's deep, man. That's really deep. No shoes.
One day I'm going to be able to help them. But I'm not only going to help them by giving, because we should all give, because life is much better when you give, but also by learning. What is that expression? Teach a man how to fish. I always forget the whole thing, but you know what I'm saying. And I want to teach people how to fish,
Right, right.
you know.
But I'm an advocate for women too, because one of the reasons I have a lot of women that is close to me in my family. You know, I got mothers and sisters and daughters and even granddaughters. So
Really? They don't know.
yeah,
You look too young to have
I
grandkids.
know, right? I know. That's what I tell them. It's like, wow. But I'm gonna tell you something. Now, here's my message. Time goes by really fast. So whatever you're gonna do, you better get to it, because you're gonna look up and boom, that time is gonna be flying, and it's still flying.
I know.
Even though we're in the pandemic right now, it's still time is still flying.
Yeah, it's so true. That's a really good advice. So don't wait until tomorrow if you can do it today. Actually, one of my first jobs here, I was walking and they had a waitress, a restaurant that had waitress needed, help wanted. And I was walking with my aunt. And sometimes having people around you that's going to push you, it's very important. So literally, so I'm walking with my aunt and she looked, she's like, look, they're hiring. So I said, oh, I just came from Brazil today. I'll come back tomorrow. She's like, if you can do it today, don't wait until tomorrow. She literally like almost pushed me into the store.
Yeah. Wow.
And that was a job that I met my husband for 19 years.
Look at that.
I went in there just to meet him. And it was a job that I realized that I never wanted to be a waitress because I absolutely hate it. I said, I don't want to serve. I want to be served. But the whole point is, the metaphor here is that you want to surround yourself around people that's going to lift you up. If they are not better than you, they're bringing you down. What happens is, okay, so if I have someone who's more successful than me, I'm going to level up, right? But if I'm with somebody who's worse than me, then I level down. That means in everything, in career, mindset, everything. And that's why sometimes you better not have anybody than to have people that are going to bring you down. Make sense?
Well,
So
you know what that sounds like to me?
What?
Surround yourself with winners.
Yes.
Surround yourself with champions.
Absolutely. And it's uncomfortable, by the way, because
Yeah.
sometimes we want to feel better about ourselves. So we want to be with people that are not as good as we are because we makes us feel better. But you have to be conscious about this and make yourself uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Eventually you'll be comfortable.
Yeah. 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 You know, I know a guy that was friends with Robert Kiyosaki.
Mm-hmm.
And they did business together, books together. And he said it wasn't always easy being, you know, his friend. It would challenge you. Imagine being friends with Tony Robbins. He's going to challenge you.
Yeah.
He's going to push you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to push him too, but he's going to push you. And
I've lost friends because I pushed them too much.
Wow.
Yeah, because they didn't, but they were bringing me down. So then it didn't work. And I'm still kind and respectful, but they're not someone not someone I want to hang out with. But look, people have to be ready to want to grow too. Not everybody wants to grow. Some people are they're happy where they are. They're comfortable and that's where they want to be. You can't force them. And
what if it's family? What if it's family? Then what do? How do you deal with that?
You just see them for the holidays. Seriously.
Right.
And if it's a spouse, maybe you can help them grow. Maybe you got to find their motivation and what is it that's going to drive them? What's missing for them to get the motivation and their purpose? But, it's not an easy one for sure.
But now we're going to keep in contact now, right? Let me get your website again.
Yes, so it's the Luxian, TheLuxian.com. TheLuxian.com.
Good. And you do virtual real estate?
Yep. I do, physical also. I mean, I physically show properties. But virtual is a component that is a very easy experience for me. I help people see properties virtually. I show properties virtually. I actually just sold an apartment in Manhattan that the person saw and purchased completely 100% virtually. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. Oh man.
So
awesome.
you went to the summit in 2017, April of 2017.
It's been that long already? So that's how long I know you.
Yeah.
3 years. Wow.
And you got a birthday coming up, right?
Yeah, September
13th.
Wow.
Wow.
You are amazing, Rick. Did you go to the summit again? Did it have,
they didn't have it.
Maybe they'll do it virtually. They should do it virtually.
Maybe I don't know if they're gonna do. I haven't heard it from them for October, but April they canceled, and I haven't heard anything for October yet. So I guess they may be working on it. Maybe they might do it virtually.
Well, Tony Robbins is doing like major virtual experiences now.
Wow.
He's getting he got 26,000 people in Zoom.
Wow.
Talking about pivoting. What's he just got, what's the opportunity here? So now he had no overhead of having the stadium. It's not the same. You can't walk on fire, but still, now he got 26,000 instead of 10,000 people paying for attending his seminar.
So I need you to give a message of empowerment for the people to take with them, that they could help them be stronger. Help them be strong. Give them a message of encouragement and empowerment.
You are enough. And you can accomplish so much more than you think. You just have to want to grow and change. And you have to feel comfortable with change. Because change is inevitable. The only thing that's guaranteed in life is change. So instead of being afraid and not liking change, embrace it and love it. It's like a roller coaster ride, right? You can either be petrified or have a blast. You choose.
All right. Well, I want to thank you.
I didn't plan that one. Thank you for the opportunity, Rick.
Wow.
You're so amazing and so deep. I'm so grateful for you. And I thank you so much for helping so many people.
And when I tell Eli that I spoke to you, he's gonna be like, it's gonna blow his mind.
I gotta
he's gonna be so happy to hear from you.
I can't wait to connect with him. I'm gonna try to find his number to call him.
Do you have a message for Eli?
Eli, call me. I want to know what you're up to.
Yeah, right. All right, my dear. Thank you.
Continue
to do the wonderful work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Let's keep in touch this time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Have a good night.
All right. Okay. Mr. Doug.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 5.
You,
Number 5.
Number 5.
25 more.
25 miles to go, girl. My feet are hurting mighty bad. Yeah. Got 25 miles to go, girl.
Yeah, stick to boxing.
They call me Edwin Starr. You too young to know about Edwin Starr.
You are not King Cole, that's for sure.
King Kong.
I said you are
Edwin
not
Starr.
King Cole. As in Nat King Cole, you are not King Cole.
Nah, Edwin Starr, man.
Well, Edwin Starr can sing. He can sing.
Huh?
War, what is it? War, what is it good for?
War, what is it good for? Ha! Absolutely nothing. Yeah, man.
Say it again.
All that good music. Say it again. Say it again.
Yep. Wow. Pretty good show there, Rick.
Yeah, I got a movie that I got to watch tonight.
Oh yeah.
It's called Unthinkable.
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 Oh.
Unthinkable.
Who's in it?
Your boy Les Brown is gonna be in it.
Okay.
Lisa Nichols is gonna be in it. The lady I mentioned.
Okay.
Do I put on my team? She's gonna be in it. Yeah.
So
I got to get ready for that.
It's a movie or a documentary?
A movie.
Okay.
They call it a movie. Unsinkable.
Okay.
Yes, let me get ready for that. Grab me a little late night snack and get myself together and get ready for my motivational movie, man.
All right, so you have a good motivational evening.
One thing before I leave though, Michelle Obama has said that she got a podcast now.
Right.
And one of the things she said that she felt that she might have had some low level depression.
I heard that
from all the stuff that's going on. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, she sounded like she was real. I heard it when she said it.
Yeah.
So it sounded like it was real. Yes. If you're asking me about her depression or her reason why she has a depression.
Well, I think I might have had a little bit of that.
Okay. Because you can have depression. There's usually a reason why you have it.
Well, I'm sitting here. I went from full speed ahead to a complete.
GHBR, Grant Houses Community Radio, home of the Community News Service.
Yeah, I went from yes. So I went from going full speed ahead to a complete stop, complete shutdown. Right.
You have to shelter in place, baby.
I understand that, but when you ain't doing I wasn't doing anything.
Shelter in place means doing nothing, man.
Well, I think you need to find something to do.
I think you're right.
Find something to do to keep you going, because to stop completely, I don't think that's a winning situation. You're going from full speed ahead doing a lot. Huh?
I agree. It was it was a massive deceleration.
Yeah, just boom. Like if you riding a bike and you hit the brakes real fast.
That's called deceleration, baby.
Yeah, if you're on the bus.
You don't like that, huh?
If you're on the bus and the bus got to make a hard stop, boom, man, people might go boom. You might fall off the bus, man. You might crash into somebody. So that's what happened. So I might have had a little bit of that. That's why, you might not see me for a while. I'm just like, So when she said that, I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, but I think that's what that could have been.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you ain't the person no more. Well, I'm glad your low-level depression has slinked and went away. That's right, man. Stick and move, baby. Stick and move.
That's all I need to do.
Stick and move, man. Boom, boom. Stick and move. Bob and weave.
All I had to do was think about all I had to do. That's a real simple solution to that situation. All I had to do was think about my upcoming opponent, last name FRAZIER, and that would have gave me the motivation, all the motivation I needed right there. He's a big, strong man. He's a big, strong guy. Big, strong basketball player, and
who ain't getting in the ring, who's not stupid enough to get in the ring and mess around with somebody else's sport.
Well, you
might
get a couple off. You might, till you get tired. You're gonna be all right for a minute.
Not gonna be able to do it. Hey, Rick, not gonna be able to do it. I ain't trying to do that.
What I'm saying is that you're gonna be all right, but then once you get tired, once you run out of gas, that's it. It's all over then. And be like, okay, it's my turn now.
Well, I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna be all right because I'm not gonna get in.
Yeah. See, because I'm not gonna let you rest. I'm gonna be right there, so you're gonna have to.
I'm not getting in the ring, man. I ain't doing that. And if I was you, I wouldn't get on the basketball court with me either. You should you should exercise that same level of caution.
Well, see,
I just think it would be a bad outcome for you.
See,
only because you don't talk so much junk that I would feel compelled to back it up. You talk to my
Well,
junk, man. You know, full
well,
court.
well.
I remember all the things you said to me. You're going to get on full court, guard me the whole court, all this kind of stuff, shoot jumpers on
Full
me.
court press. Full
Yeah,
court press.
that's that. You know, that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. You know, you're coming to somebody like me and telling me you're going to be doing all those things. But you're talking about it. Remember, you know, in basketball, there's no talking about things in basketball because everybody's out there on the court. You could do it. Damn talking.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, so check it out. I seen this guy, right? I said, excuse me. I said, you know anything about, they got this game, right? And it's a round ball and you shoot it through a hoop. You got the net on it. And he started smiling when I said that. Guy was Gus Williams. I saw him someplace. Yeah, I saw him. I said, you know, somewhere here in New York, somewhere I saw him.